Today, I'm gonna teach you how to build muscle for 2025. These are the latest, greatest techniques when it comes to training, diet, and all the other stuff that is needed to build your dream physique and look your best in 2025. Now, if this is your first time ever going to the gym in your life, I just wanna say congratulations and making that first new step into a new lifestyle. Going into the gym, remember, there's no need to feel intimidated. There's no need to feel overwhelmed. 47% of people, according to the New York Post, leave the gym due to intimidation, and 32% of people feel it the most when working out next to someone who is stronger and bigger than someone. I want to remind every single person that's watching this that even the biggest guy you've seen in the gym had to start somewhere. They started out scrawny, they started out fat, they started out at day one. And I just want to tell you, if today's your day one, congratulations. Now, what is it that we're going over today? What is it? How do you build muscle? How do you build those Greek statue physiques that each and every one of us are striving for, right? The process of building muscle is very simple. In order to build a muscle, you must put each of your muscle fibers in some sort of stretch or some sort of stress, which what we'll do will create micro tears in each of the muscles, which is also known as micro trauma. Now, this is not like actual trauma. This is a good kind of trauma, because what it does, basically, when you are working out, when you go to the gym, when you're lifting weights, you're basically putting the muscles under stress. And what that does is it creates the tears in each muscle, whatever muscle you work out. And what that's gonna do is that over time, as you eat, as you sleep, it's gonna rebuild itself. This process is known as adaptive remodeling. This is when the muscle gets bigger and stronger after being under stress and rebuilding itself to look bigger and stronger. Now, the real question is, what exercises build the most muscle? If you're a beginner especially, you need to focus on what's known as compound movements. Compound movements is when multiple muscles are being used at once to perform a lift. Exercises like the squat, the bench, the pull-up, overhead press, the deadlift. Deadlift you can kind of go without if you're not a powerlifter. If you are trying to be a powerlifter, well, then you gotta add that. But if not, then you can move that out the way. That won't really do much for you. But squat, benches, pull-ups, overhead presses, things of that nature, those are known as compound movements because they require multiple muscles to be utilized. Take the squat, for example. When you're performing a squat, it requires your quads, a little bit of your hamstrings, glutes, somewhat lower back, not too much. But these are known as compound movements because there's so many muscles being utilized at once to perform the act of squatting down and up. A bench press, same thing. It's your chest, your front delts, your triceps, all being utilized to push the weight from down to up. Those are known as compound movements, and that will grow you the biggest and the strongest too, because you are utilizing different muscle groups. Not only do compound movements build the most muscle due to how many muscles are being utilized for a certain exercise, but also it actually helps with cardiovascular health. The reason why that is because due to your heart rate increasing, due to the amount of muscles being pushed, your heart rate goes up a little bit, and it's good for that, for your cardiovascular health. It also, on top of that, improves flexibility in everyday life. On top of that, compound movements help increase testosterone. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, John, in a little bit. Okay, hold your horses, all right? Now, the other types of exercises that help build muscle are known as isolation movements. Now, what these do is when you are specifying on a certain muscle group. For example, bicep curls, barbell curls, dumbbell curls, whatever, curls. Those are specifically for the bicep. Or a tricep push down, that's for your tricep. A side lateral raise, that's for your side delts of your shoulder. When doing isolation movements, that allows you to fix any muscle imbalances that could happen due to compound movements. It also just builds your physique in a perfect fashion, so that way you maximize your genetics in every way possible. Mixing in compound movements and isolation movements allow you to build the perfect body when it comes to strength, hypertrophy, and just overall looks. So now that we got exercises out of the way, I'm gonna give you 3 main keys to remember when you're actually making your program, when you're training, so that way you can maximize your potential. The number one thing is known as progressive overload. What this means is that over time when you're working out, that you progressively overload on weight, on reps, sometimes sets. What this does is that you gradually over time build strength. You build the muscle over time through progressive overload, and you can also see how your progress is looking. I'm gonna use me as an example. So I made this a weekly thing. Now, how my we'll go over splits later, how I usually do it, what I recommend, but we'll get into that. So on my main leg day, right, I did 315 for 3 sets of 5. So the next leg day, the next main leg day, I increased the weight by 335 pounds. So now I'm hitting 335 pounds, 3 sets of 5 again, right? All I'm doing is just increasing the weight a little bit, right? And then next week, 355, 3 sets of 5. And then the week after that, 365, 3 sets of 5. But you see how I'm progressively adding more weight as I go, right? Now, that's one way to do this. It doesn't have to be just compound movements. You could do it with machines. You could do it with any exercise. You should do it with every exercise. Like, for example, a side lateral raise. Okay, cool. I did the 15s for 3 sets of 15. Cool. Now I'll do the 17 and a half for 3 sets of 15, right? You're progressively getting stronger by just increasing the load. You can also do it by just adding a rep. So let's go back to the squats here. Let's see, I go 325 pounds, 3 sets of 5. Okay, cool. Next time I have a main leg day, I'll go that same weight, but then I'll go 3 sets of 6. I'm just adding another rep. That's still progressive overload because I'm still adding more stress and more contraction and more overallness. That's not even a word. You know what I'm saying? I'm adding more load to my muscles. You feel me? That's as simple as I can put it. All it is just whether it's adding a little bit, even if you add like 2.5 pounds, you don't have to do 10-pound jumps, especially if you're a beginner, that's not realistic. But even just adding a cool little 2.5 pounds each time you get back to that muscle group, it goes a long, long way. And if you feel like it's getting too heavy, then just bring it back down. Just bring it back down. If you can't perform those reps, cool, then bring it back down on the next time. Now, some psychopaths like to add another set to it, and you can do that if you feel like you're not getting enough sets, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So stay tuned. Personally, the only reason why, like, if you want to do 3 sets and then increase it to 4 sets, that's okay. But then eventually, if you keep going 4 sets, okay, 5 sets, 6 sets, 7 sets, at a point it starts becoming junk load, junk volume. If you're gonna go from 3 sets to 4 sets, that's fine. But if you once you get up past like 5, 6 sets, then it's like you're gonna be in the gym for like 4 hours, and no one's got time for that. No, that's too much. That's going too far. The second step I'm gonna talk about is known as the stretch. Research has shown that putting stretch on muscles allows it to grow the most. What do I mean by that? We'll call it stretch under load. That's what we're gonna call it. I think that's probably actually what it's called, but just hang with me, right? Let's take a pec deck, for example. Just for example, right? The chest, right? What old school research has talked about is the peak contraction at the top. That's what's known as the most muscle being used. But it's actually the complete opposite. Because think about it. Think about it starting all the way over here and getting the muscle over here. It's a lot harder to get the weight to move from back here than up here. You see what I'm saying? So when you start at a stretch position, that's where all these muscle fibers are getting worked to get to that contraction, and then you go slow on the way down. Boom, look at all this muscle being used compared to starting here, right? Starting here and then just going like that. Not a lot of muscles being used, but when you start back here, look at all this muscle being built. Even just do literally just what I'm doing right now. Like go here, start from like a 45-degree angle here and just contract here. Not a lot's going on. Now put it back all the way here. Look at that. So much more muscle being used. Now, I am not saying to do that. Do it as safely as possible. Don't pull anything, right? That's when you gotta feel out your body. See, okay, is this too much of a stretch where I feel like I'm gonna hurt something? Then don't do that. You wanna stretch it out as safely as possible, right? The biggest stretch you could get as safely as possible. Don't go too far where the point where like, you're bending over like this and you gotta bring it up. No. You're gonna, no. Same thing for literally every other muscle group. Going back to the squat. They tell you to get as low as possible on the squat. Why? Because your quads and all your muscles are so stretched at the bottom compared to when you do like a half rep. That's why it's so important to get as low as you can as possible, because more muscle fibers are being worked when you're low on your squat. It goes for every exercise. If you want to maximize your potential, if you want to maximize your genetics, do the best you can. Safely work your muscles under stretch. The third key for training, and this is an important one too. All these are important. If you incorporate all 3 of these keys, oh my, you're gonna be a beast. You're gonna be an actual animal. The third key is controlling what's known as the eccentric. What does that mean? I'm gonna give an example. A lat pull down. When you're pulling down like this, you know, of course you're working out the muscle like this. But when you bring it up, what a lot of people like to do is they like to just jerk the weight back up. They don't control the way up. No, 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 no. Control the way up. Allow the muscle to work and fight for it to get to the top. Think of it like this. Think of it as like you go down and just count to 3 seconds. So you bring it down. 1, 2, 3. Look at all that muscle being worked compared to just swinging the weight up and down. You can literally incorporate this in every single exercise. Whatever the hard point is, starting the exercise, lateral raises, boom, up, slow on the way down. Bench press, up, slow on the way down. A squat, down, slow on the way down and shoot up. Control the eccentric. Studies have shown that actually more muscle is actually being produced on controlling the eccentric than performing the movement itself. But 9 times out of 10, basically every study has shown that the person who controls the eccentric will always grow bigger than the one who doesn't. So control the eccentric. Control the weight. If you control the weight instead of just moving the weight up and down, yeah, you finna blow up. So, I just gave you 3 keys. We talked about exercises. Now, how do you make it work? Ryder, how do I make it work? Ryder, how will this fit my schedule? Hold on, hold your horses. Listen, workout split does not matter. Now, what does matter is working hard, number 1. Working hard, working them close to, if not muscular failure. Train hard. You need to hit muscular failure, right? You need to hit muscular failure to feel what muscular failure feels like. You don't need to hit it every single time, every single set. What you should do is every set you should be aiming for muscular failure around the last set of an exercise you're doing. That's where you're gonna see the most growth, right? So that way you don't just absolutely kill yourself throughout the workout, but you still train hard and bring that muscle to failure. You know what I'm saying? So boom, right? Now, when it comes to actually splitting the workouts, the key is you wanna hit the muscle group around 12 to no more than 18 sets per week. Each muscle group. You wanna hit each muscle group for 12 sets, 12 to 15, 12 to 18 sets per week. And that means you have to split them up. Right? What I like to do, me personally, this is what's been helping out me. On Monday, I train legs and abs. Now, ab training, I mainly just do like the captain chair, leg raise, boom, and then maybe some cable crunches, but mainly legs and abs. Tuesday, I aim chest, shoulders, and tries, a push day. Wednesday, I do pull. I do back and buys and forearms. Thursday, I rest. Friday, I do an all lower body workout. And then Saturday, I do a whole upper body workout. Sunday, I rest. I'll work out 5 times per week. This is what works for me, and I'm doing everything I can to grow, right? I'm hitting the sets, I'm hitting each muscle group twice a week, and me personally, that's where I feel like I've grown the most. Now, if 5 days is too much, then split it down to 4. If you're beginning, I'd even start with 3. If you're beginning, just to feel the machines and feel everything, right? 3 times per week. If you're a beginner, it's great. If you're intermediate, 4 to 5. If you are really crazy, if you wanna go for 6, I personally don't agree with 6 because I feel like that rest day is so important. You grow when you rest. You grow when you rest. You don't grow in the gym, you grow when you rest. So I think, to each your own. If it works for you, it works for you. At the end of the day, a workout split, as long as you're able to hit the amount of sets you need for each muscle group to hit, to grow, and also hopefully you can hit it twice a week, right? Then to each your own. Whatever split, bro split, push-pull legs, Arnold, whatever your split that suits for you, that's your split. So I think we went over basically everything when it comes to training. Now, this is only one big group. There's 3 big components we need to build the dream physique that you want to build in 2025. We talked about the training, but now we got to talk about the second big component, and that is what you're putting in your body. Now, of course, protein is important for obvious reasons. It builds your muscles. Protein, it builds everything. It produces the amino acids for your body to create muscle. What happens is that protein turns into thousands of amino acids. It goes into your cells, and then ribosomes in your cells make protein, yada yada yada, take it to the Golgi. This is not a science class, okay? But basically the point is you need to eat protein. Now, carbs are important because it builds glycogen, which is used as fuel for your workout. So that way you can have the best workout possible. You have the best workout possible, you're gonna make the most micro tears in your body. You make the most micro tears in your body and you eat enough protein, then boom, you're gonna build the best physique. You feel me? So carbs are important, and fats are important because for hormonal health. Now, remember that word I said a little earlier ago, testosterone? Yeah, you need that. Yeah, you need that. That's important, right? And you're gonna get that by having healthy fats like eggs, avocados, olive oil, nuts, things of that nature, right? You need healthy fats, not bad fats, healthy fats to keep hormonal health good, to make sure you have testosterone, so that way you can build the best physique possible. You feel me? It also what it does, it also holds in vitamins from your body that you need, like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, all that stuff that you need, and you get that from having good, healthy fats. When building muscle, you gotta make sure you're in a caloric surplus, which is basically when you're eating more calories than you burn. Now, what you wanna do is you wanna go on Google, look up a calorie maintenance calculator, right? You wanna do that, and then whatever that number is, you just wanna add it to 300. Whatever that number is, that's what you need to be aiming for in terms of calories. In terms of macros of how much you should be eating of each food group between protein, fats, and carbs, this is a good little baseline. When it comes to protein, you should be aiming for whatever goal body weight you're trying to be. That's how many grams of protein you need to eat. Around 0.7 grams to 1 gram of protein per body weight that you're trying to be. Or if you're trying to maintain whatever body weight you are, just around there. So for example, for me, I'm around 215 right now. I'm trying to get around 220, 225 right now. So currently, right now, I am eating around 200 to 220 grams of protein per day. Now for fats and carbs, fats you want to be aiming around 0.2 to 0.7 grams per body weight. And for carbohydrates, you want to aim for 1.5 to 2 grams per body weight. So for me, that'd be around, I think like around 117, 130 grams of fat, and carbs around 300 to 400 grams of carbs. Now, this is for me because I'm a heavier guy. But if you're a lighter guy, you know, it's all about your body weight and about how much you weigh as a person. Now, what I usually eat in around a day, I'll start with breakfast with around 5 to 7 eggs with a piece of toast and berries. After my workout, I have a very big protein shake that's around 60 to 7 grams of protein. For lunch, I'll have some chicken and rice. And then for dinner, I'll mix it up. But the basis is having some form of meat with some sort of carb. So I'll do maybe a steak with rice, a steak with sweet potatoes, or salmon with pasta. You know what I mean? But it's just make sure to get a healthy type of meat with a good, healthy carb. The third big component for building muscle is this right here, sleeping. Getting sleep is so crucial to build muscle. You should be aiming for around 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. There are also many ways to make sure your sleep quality is at its highest form. For example, sleeping in a dark room. Make sure the room is cold. If you need white noise, put on a fan next to you. On top of that, staying away from stimulants past 8 hours before you go to bed. On top of that, avoiding the water, or make sure 2 hours before you pee before. We'll also make sure that you don't wake up overnight to go pee and it's hard to fall back asleep. Now, in the process of building muscle, you know, it's a lifestyle change. It's a change in how you move. It's a change in what you do. It's a change in how you spend your free time. It's a change in how you eat. It's a change in making a priority in sleep. It's a lifestyle change. You will benefit so much from making this lifestyle change to live longer, to live a healthier life, and live a better life. So I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see your progress. Keep up the good work. Thank y'all so much for watching. You know, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know, we're on the road to monetization. Thank y'all so much for watching. Love y'all. Jesus loves y'all. And be smooth.